One of my friends dared me to make a game on Roblox. I wasn't interested at first. I'd tried making a game before and hit a wall almost immediately. It felt pointless, like I was missing some magic ingredient to make it work, but my friend was persistent. "Come on," he said. "Just let me show you this one game." That's when he pulled up Prison Line. Picture this, a game with thousands of players, all waiting in a line for their death sentence. That's the whole game. It didn't even have any gameplay, just people waiting around in line. But it had over 10,000 players. It blew my mind. If a game that simple could do so well, maybe I could make something people would enjoy. So, I decided to give it another shot. I jumped into Roblox Studio, booted up ChatGPT, and started brainstorming. I wanted a mechanic that could be easy to build, but everything I tried was just terrible. It was almost comical how bad my first attempt turned out. I was about ready to throw in the towel, but then I saw a video by this guy who experiments with different coding platforms. He was learning Roblox Studio too, and he said, "Before making the game you want, make a simpler game to learn the basics of the platform." That was a game changer. It clicked that I didn't need perfection, I just needed practice. I started thinking about games my friends and I used to play, and an idea struck. Drift and Eat. Imagine Agario, but with cars. You'd collect parts scattered across the map, earning points and growing in size with every item you collected. It was a simple concept, and I thought it would be fun to try. So I fired up Roblox Studio and started coding. This time, I didn't rely on ChatGPT. I wanted to understand the code myself, even if it took longer. I'd done some coding before, so Lua didn't feel completely foreign, though it was different enough to keep me on my toes. Over the next few days, Drift and Eat slowly came to life. I managed to get the basics down. Players could drive around, collect items, and watch their cars grow as they scored points. But just when I thought I was in the clear, the dreaded car in the ground bug appeared. Every time a car got bigger, it would sink halfway into the ground, and no amount of tweaking would fix it. I tried everything I could think of, adjusting the car's hitbox, changing the model settings, and tweaking Roblox's physics engine, but nothing worked. I was so close to giving up again. I'd spent hours on this bug, and I could feel the frustration mounting. But I'd already come so far, so I pushed forward, coming up with a quick fix that was more of a workaround than a real solution. I made a script that adjusted the car's position relative to the base plate. It wasn't pretty, and it definitely wasn't ideal, but it worked well enough to keep the game playable. I'd faced down my first major challenge, even if it wasn't a perfect victory. With the basics of Drift and Eat working, I started sharing updates with my TikTok followers, who surprised me with feedback and ideas. People asked for things like items they could buy in-game and a currency system. That gave me a boost of motivation. I realized people were actually interested. So, I added a shop where players could use their points to buy items, and soon I started earning Robux. It wasn't a fortune, around 300 Robux, but it felt like a huge reward for all the effort I'd put in. Knowing that people were actually paying to support the game was unreal. Then came the next big request, custom car skins. Everyone wanted them, but there was one problem. I had no idea how to model. I tried asking for help, but the assets people sent me were often just free models they didn't actually create. So I tried modeling myself. Even though it was completely outside my comfort zone, it was a mess. In the end, I had to let go of the idea of adding custom car skins. I released Drift and Eat without it, accepting that this was as far as I could take the game for now. Even though Drift and Eat wasn't perfect, it was a massive accomplishment for me. I'd created my first playable game from scratch, battled through bugs, and actually earned some Robux. But as I looked back at everything I'd learned, I realized something important. This game was never meant to be my masterpiece. It was my training ground. The project where I learned how Roblox Studio worked and figured out the basics of Lua. And that's when it hit me. I was ready to go for something bigger. That's why now I started making my dream game. A game inspired by an old browser game, zombs.io, where you had to protect your base against waves of zombies coming after it every night. If you want to test this new game out, join my Roblox group or search for Protect Your Gold in the Roblox experiences. Everyone who comments their username or actually tries it out will be added to the OG list.